If you have been feeling stuck lately when it comes to what course or what digital product or what offer you should be putting out next, you are in the right place, my friend. Hello, my name is Sarah Layton from scalingwithsoul.com. And I am so excited to hang out with you for a little tea and training. I hope you can grab a nice beverage and maybe a snack and curl up because I am really pumped to blow your mind with all of the ideas that you're about to have when you see how simple and how profitable it is to use ChatGPT to completely map out our entire offer suite, not to mention our content, and dive into the actual objections that are causing your clients to hesitate so that you can get ahead of all of that passively so that they are coming to you credit card in hand, ready to go, wanting to gobble up every single offer that you drop from here on out. So that's my mission for our very casual, very informal little training today. In fact, don't get too excited because this is literally the only graphic that I created for this. And this is really, truly impromptu. I started doing this for myself last night, and then all of a sudden, I sat down to kind of finish things up today, and I was like, wait. How can I not take them along with me as I do this and show them exactly what I'm doing? And it just so happens that I was actually getting some questions in my inbox today around this stuff specifically. So I can't resist, even though the house is in shambles as we are getting ready to close on selling this bad boy and move into a fifth wheel. I don't know if I have lost all of my mind yet, but I just can't resist bringing this training to you. So without further ado, let's just dive in. We're going to hop right out of there. Legit, you guys, I just took the first slide off of a slide deck template. Oh my gosh. So let me catch you up a little bit. The way that I like to develop an offer suite is to comprehensively map it out along the exact stages of my ideal client's heroine journey. So when we think about the core transformation that we are creating, and we think about the before and the after of that transformation, it starts to become really clear that there are stages, phases, steps in this journey. That journey can mirror the traditional story arc of the hero or the heroine's journey. And yes, the two are very different. The beauty of the heroine's journey versus the hero's journey is that the heroine's journey is, first of all, more relatable to women, but it's also much more emotionally charged. And it's in this emotionally charged place with all of this vivid language that the most beautiful, vulnerable, connection deepening content really comes to the surface. And that's where the conversions happen big time at scale. That's where we see huge leaps in the amount of trust and everything that the client is experiencing. So let me catch you up on what I've been doing. To start, I opened up just a really simple blank Trello board. And I wanted to, as I said, have the entire offer suite, all the content, everything that I was brainstorming directly reflect each of the stages of the heroine's journey. So really quick, if you're not familiar with them, it begins with the call to adventure. Initially, she will refuse the call. Then she will meet the mentor. And as I'm reading these, I want you to think about different movies or books you've read and where this has shown up and if it sounds familiar. Right now, I'm actually reading A Court of Thorns and Roses with the Hubs. So all of this is like super top of mind and I can see it. If you are reading the ACOTAR books, let me know, drop a comment. Where are you? Don't spoil anything. I'm like halfway through the first book. My husband's like 150 pages ahead. He's killing me. So, but yeah, I want to connect. Let me know if you're reading too. So, after meeting the mentor, she crosses the threshold, and from there is where she will encounter trials, allies, and enemies. And then she will enter the innermost cave, and she will have to face a brutal ordeal, which leads to a reward, followed by the road back, the resurrection, and her return with the elixir. So as you can see, I got a pretty solid start on building all of these out. I'm like maybe a little more than halfway done. So I thought it would be fun to kind of take you with me as I continue to build some of these out. But let me first show you basically how I have these working so far. And in time, I will probably decorate this bad boy and bring it to life with some of my graphics. You know how I love to make everything really beautiful and whimsical, because I think that making our work beautiful it's almost like not just this pleasurable thing. It almost, I don't know, it's more inspiring. It makes our work more enjoyable. Like, we do so much of our work on these screens, in these devices. So to make the environment of the device as pleasant as possible, I don't know, I believe that it really goes a long way in helping to kind of prevent some of that burnout and keep me feeling like even some of the super boring things are a little bit more enjoyable. Anyway, that's just me. So anywho, as you can see, each of these I have drafted out in pretty much the same order. They start with the goal of the stage. So in the call to adventure, actually, you know what? Impromptu. Maybe I should give you a little bit of the backstory of who I am and who I'm targeting. That might make a little bit more sense. And to do that, all we have to do is actually go back to the ChatGPT conversation that I was rocking with in order to develop all of this kind of stuff. So let's hop back to the beginning. And I'll show you pretty much how I started this process, which in a nutshell, I'm going to read this to you because I think it'll make a lot more sense as we go through some of these, and it'll help tie everything together. And maybe you'll find out that you and I are actually aligned. I don't know. But essentially, this will kind of show you how I got to the point of being able to create all of the content that I listed in each of these cards. So, all right. Without further ado, I told ChatGPT that my name is Sarah Layton and I am a digital product designer that also coaches on signature offer suites, content marketing strategy, SEO, creativity, and sales psychology. My primary focus is signature offer suites, though. I want to create an outline of my offer suite targeting freelance service providers like interior designers and photographers, as well as coaches. My target audience is the matriarch huntress archetype who struggles with planning but is great at making quick decisions. She's always willing to pay money to save time, energy, and attention, and creative burden. In fact, creative burden is the main problem I solve with my products and services. In order to begin brainstorming the products I want to offer, let's write a detailed outline for a 12-week group coaching program on the topic of mapping out and starting to develop your signature offer suite. Why would I have ChatGPT start with mapping out this program? Because I want it to become more aware of the curriculum that I am trying to teach, of where I'm coming from, of the target audience, of all of this, as well as what my target client and customer is going to be experiencing in their journey of working with me. So let's see. I think we went through a couple rounds of this. Yeah, we did. And you will find that if you do use a similar approach, that you will have to give ChatGPT, some additional guidance along the way. So here's where I started to refine it a little bit more. I said, based on my own story and experience with developing my offer suite, I know that much of the resistance they will face will be rooted in some codependency with their clients and their business. We build our businesses to be our babies and to need us, but along the way, we wind up needing to be needed by our business until the burden becomes so big, we want to burn it all down the way that I did with my last business. There is all this pressure to scale and to fulfill your potential, and you know you could be making a bigger impact, but you're struggling to get out of your own way, and you don't have the time, energy, or desire to DIY an entire offer suite for months only to have it come out looking like a 5-year-old made it. You also realize you're leaving tons of money on the table by not developing a suite of passive income offers and being able to capture the otherwise lost sales of those that can't afford your one-to-one services or simply prefer to work on their own with some guidance from you. So that allowed me to get ChatGPT a little bit more on the page. And then I was like, well, you know what? I don't think it really understands my story and what I've been through. So let me share the script from my video sales letter with it in order to give it that extra detail. So I said, here is my story in even more detail. It's crucial that this core transformation and curriculum be based on me and what worked for me, because that's what we're selling here, right? Our own proprietary methods, our stories, our journeys, what worked for us, okay? We're not necessarily promising that everything that worked for us will definitely work for everyone. It won't. Everyone comes to the table with different knowledge gaps, experience gaps, financial gaps, different things like that, resource gaps, okay? But what we're saying is this worked for me, and I believe that if you fit these parameters and you follow these steps, it can work for you as well, okay? So there's a major difference there. So I went on to say, my name is Sarah Layton, and I'm so excited that you're open to answering the call to take your signature offer suite seriously. My clients call me the siren of signature offer suites because I have combined my decade of experience in freelance writing, SEO, content marketing strategy, behavioral and sales psychology, course creation, funnel development, and graphic and digital product design. Each of these skills like gems in my treasure chest to create the most alluring signature offers in the vast online ocean. Describing that pivotal moment when I realized the need to scale back client work and focus on my bigger vision. When I started my business, I was a young, single girl with nothing but ambition to eat. I was lucky to strike gold with my strategic niche and found success from day one, quickly growing my business and it soon became my baby. I spent those first 6 years or so going through a lot of the typical challenges a new freelancer or solopreneur will face. I failed to set expectations or boundaries with my clients. I let people get away with not paying me for absurd reasons. I became addicted to selling more and more of my time while ignoring my true needs. To be honest, for a while, I really thought that I had it all figured out and my business was working for me. I was in a new queen era of life, feeling fabulous as fuck and fueled on the high of accomplishments and the spotlight my business was casting me in. Then, right after I turned 30, Dan, aka my now husband, and I began our whirlwind romance, getting engaged after just 7 months. Chill, we were friends for like 7 years first. And as we were booking our wedding in Paris, followed by our 3-week grand European honeymoon, the pandemic shut down the world. Then I decided, like a crazy woman, that I wanted to buy a house for my husband as a wedding present at the same time we were planning the wedding, which was an Everest of a feat, considering everything was still shut down at that time, and I was having to completely replan my wedding after losing all of our deposits and prepaids. Yep, thousands and thousands of dollars down the drain. So let me take you to the wedding. I had finally closed on the house after a 4-month battle of paperwork and phone calls. I had a completely booked out calendar of clients, like years booked out. I had blown through all of my savings and was wondering how I was going to be able to afford our first mortgage payment on the wedding present that I had just bought him. And as I stood in the mirror in my wedding dress on the phone with a client, I had one of those moments in life when you catch your reflection, unable to look away, compelled to face the changes you know you need to make. The ones that you've been running from, but now feel unable to ignore. It was in that moment that I realized I had to burn my business as I knew it to the ground. One of the few good things to come out of the pandemic for me was that it triggered my intuition when it first hit. At the time, I was the category queen of content marketing in the real estate niche, and I knew I needed to counteract the economy by balancing my services with digital products. So I took to my Canva graphic design skills and my everything is figure-outable attitude and went to Etsy, launching a store with a variety of digital and dropship products targeting real estate agents, loan officers, photographers, etc. And I honestly didn't expect anything of it, but to my surprise, the register would ring with moderate sales on a fairly frequent basis. At the time, my clients were paying 5-figure contracts, so I wasn't all that impressed with $8 here or $27 there looking back. But it was always a bright spot in my darkest days of the wedding planning and the house negotiations. Then, all of a sudden, the content marketing landscape began to shift with the economy again, and another thing became clear. Membership sites, coaching, and selling strategy over done-for-you services would become the new frontier. I finished out my long-term retainers, building numerous membership websites, which was actually the most excited I had been in a while, and tried to rebrand to sell strategy and coaching instead of the done-for-you services that I was known for. Plus, I pivoted from the real estate niche, which was an awful environment to be in for a creative female like myself. Can you say risky? But I didn't go into business for myself to settle, and that's exactly what I had been doing. So it felt like it was now or never to reinvent myself. The only problem was the pandemic caused the market to flood with everyone that had once worked for corporate, making it very difficult to sell strategy or coaching in any kind of sustainable way. As time went on, I lost more and more confidence in my services, but fell deeper and deeper in love with the process of designing digital products that mirror, complement, and even replace a full menu of services. They act like true clones of my clients. The process of doing this for clients was becoming deeply healing and allowed me the time I needed to sharpen my skills, specifically around designing an alluring, standout offer suite. So after a few years of swimming against the tide, I finally realized that I'm happiest when I get to apply all of my skills to bottle the brilliance of remarkable, visionary women in a way that, yes, makes them more money, but way more importantly, makes the world a better place. Honestly, what gets me leaping out of bed in the morning to start designing digital products is the notion that I get to be a part of the legacy of so many beautiful and healing moments, and that fulfills my wildest dreams. But I would be lying if I told you that this whole transition didn't come with a lot of emotional ups and downs. Remember, I built my business to be my baby, to need me the way I needed to be needed by someone. But once I had the love of myself and of my husband, I didn't want a business that needed me anymore. Suddenly, codependent clients that had once been the basis of my confidence felt like more of a burden than a blessing, which was heartbreaking in and of itself for me because I loved my clients. So although the idea that I wouldn't be appreciated, wanted, or respected if digital products could replicate my services once held me back in fear, I know now that they are the key to unlocking the treasure of time freedom. I also had to answer to everyone in my life as they watched me blow up the business and become exceedingly burned out and depressed while planning my wedding and buying the house. What should have been one of the happiest times of my life was one of the hardest. So I faced a ton of questions about my decision to make such a drastic change, and it was nothing short of humiliating at times, I promise. But in the end, I was able to yet again set myself free and free myself from this business that had burned, but in the end, I was able to set myself free from a business that had me burned out. Oh, I need to rewrite that to one that fills me with bliss. And that is the secret ingredient to my siren song. Okay, that and SEO. I love that cheeky little end. Yeah, it went from real awkward to real cheeky. Okay, so then she was able, so I never know whether I'm calling ChatGPT a she or he. Apparently today she's a she. But now she was able to tweak that more to my story. And then from there, just like I was saying, what's the before and the after of your transformation, right? So now that she understood exactly what was going on, I asked her, what are the 3 main phases of this transformation? And we also brainstormed, as you can see, some different branded names for it that I could use. And then, okay, somewhere around here. Okay, we chose titles. Okay, now is where we get into the good stuff. So this is where I said, okay, now based on everything I've told you, let's brainstorm a list of internal and external objections potential clients would have to this program. If you're not aware of what that means, so the internal objections are objections like, I can't do this because I'm not good enough. Versus external objections of like, I can't do this because my husband will say no or whatever, so it's an internal force versus an external force. So I said, please list these as how they would say it to themselves in their own mind. Consider where these already successful women are in their life and career and the pressure they face to capitalize on it without burning out. So then it began brainstorming some of these internal objections and external objections, such as I'm already stretched too thin. I don't have time to create and manage more products, or my services are too personalized. I can't see how they could be productized. I told myself that one for a while. I hear this sometimes. Will creating scalable offers dilute my brand's premium feel? Absolutely not. Oh, this one. This is such a myth. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. It's so counterintuitive. So it's true that a lot of us might say, I'm afraid that by stepping back from the one-to-one and having them work with, say, a planner or a course or something else instead, I'm afraid that losing that personal touch with my clients, like that's what my business is known for. But what you don't realize is that when done correctly, these digital products can actually enhance your relationship so much more than you ever imagined at scale. That's the thing. Like, just imagine you've got, a certain page in a planner, and you can put like a QR code or a link that goes to a video with you talking about whatever is going on in that, or a voice note, or a blog post, or an Instagram post that you had. And now you're sending them to all your different platforms. You're getting them deeper and deeper into your world, and you're absolutely deepening that relationship. You are not losing that personal touch. I promise you, my love. And then it went on to do some external objections, like there are already so many courses and memberships out there. How will mine stand out? That's a great one. Or my audience isn't used to buying digital products from me. What if they're not interested? That's so easy to solve. And I don't have a team to delegate to. How can I possibly do all this? Really, really good. And then I wanted to go a little bit deeper and actually start addressing some of them to make ChatGPT aware of how I would overcome some of these objections based on my values. Okay. And then let's see. Okay. Just for fun at that point, I did have it start brainstorming some products that might make sense based on the different stages of that 12-week course. What was this? Okay, now we loosely started mapping out, here's all the stages of the heroine's journey. I educated her on the heroine's journey. That's what I just breezed through. So I got ChatGPT all educated on the heroine's journey. And then we loosely started to sketch out some of these narratives and questions and product ideas based on that 12-week program. And honestly, you can take like your core transformation that you offer, you can break it down into like a 12-week program outline. And then from there, like that can be your truly like the entire customer journey that you work with for years. And you can just go deeper and deeper into it, integrating feedback loops and customer feedback in order to enhance the products and sell more and more and more of them, and make them truly evergreen and excellent recurring revenue producers for you. So let's see. Okay, this is where I think she started to get a little bit off of where I wanted her to go. So I was telling her, listen, this is a great start and I love the structure, but I need more content for each one. So let's take this one stage at a time, starting with the call to adventure. Here is a little more context to help you get into her mind at this stage based on my own experience. So let me set the scene for you. And I do recommend that, this is a great exercise for you to really put yourself in the mind, in the shoes, in the emotions and the thought processes of your ideal client. This is such a powerful copywriting exercise. Oh my gosh. Sales exercise, marketing exercise, branding exercise, intuitive product design exercise. Like this exercise will serve you in so many ways. And developing a board like this, or even if you drew it out on paper, however it serves you to do it, however your brain works, this is a truly, truly valuable asset when it comes to measuring, okay, where is my audience falling down? Where are they excelling? What are the most profitable gaps in my existing offer and content suite that I need to fill in order to cash in right away and ongoing. Okay. So let's set the scene. So I said she's waking up and realizing even though she's built a thriving business, she still doesn't feel the way she thought she would at this point. In fact, just the opposite. She's always chasing that next goal or trophy just to get there and feel nothing, or at least nothing like what she had expected. And now she's beginning to question it all. How can she possibly scale without taking on more clients, which she really can't do without burning out? She is low-key starting to panic a bit on the inside, even though everything looks like she has all of her shit together on the outside, and preserving that image is extremely important to her. Being revered and respected as a successful business owner is very, very important to her and her ego, and so is her business. But lately, she finds herself beginning to resent certain aspects of her business that once brought her joy. And that is causing her to start searching for answers as to why she doesn't feel fulfilled when she has so much to be grateful for on paper. Cue the guilt and shame spiral. Ironically, the more success she seems to have, the more isolated she feels, and she is wondering if she is the only one that feels like this at this point in their business. Is there something wrong with her? She is afraid to admit to herself how scared she really is to feel everything she's stuffing down just so she can show up for her clients every day. So then we launched into developing the call to adventure stage. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of tea. Got a little tickle in my throat. I'd love to know where you're joining me from today, by the way. Drop a little note in the comments. Let me know where you're from. I get so many lovely viewers from all over the globe, and it's so exciting to see all the different corners where I'm reaching you. I love it. So let's see what she came up with here. She said the goal was to acknowledge the disconnect between her external success and internal fulfillment, and to ignite the curiosity for a more sustainable, fulfilling business model that aligns with her desire for balance, respect, and joy. Hell to the yes. So she's going to have objections in this stage, like, if I'm so successful, or questions, why don't I feel happy or fulfilled? That's not so much an objection as a question she might have. So as you can see here, this chat, pretty long, pretty long. So I'll spare you reading through all of this because many of them I had to refine many times over. See, sometimes I have to like really get her to calm her tits. Okay, so yeah, this is about where I left off roughly. So now let me take you through essentially what I had actually ended up developing. All right, so I actually just read you all of this for the goal of that. And the goal of this stage ended up being, yeah, it was that. Perfect. Her objections, yes, a little bit different, were changing my business model right now might undo all my hard work and success, because I am asking her to shift her business model from being primarily or solely one-to-one offers or coaching offers to more passive offers that don't require her to have to do anything or to keep showing up. People expect me to have it all figured out. Admitting I want more feels like admitting failure. I'm worried that seeking fulfillment outside of traditional success will make me look unprofessional. The desire to run away makes me question my own strength and commitment. I fear that my secret fantasies of escaping are a sign that I'm not cut out for this. I mean, it goes on and on. A lot of these are just like exactly what was going through my head. Like in the early stages, you know, I was like, I'm concerned that my desire to escape my business is a deeper sign of satisfaction with my life, not just my business. cue the swirling depressive thoughts, and it just got darker and darker from there. Internal narratives. Everyone thinks I've made it, but inside I feel like I'm searching for something more. I've ticked all the boxes for success, so why do I feel so empty? I'm scared to explore what I truly want, fearing it might be too late or too selfish. The thought of being vulnerable and admitting I want something different is terrifying. Yeah. So you can see already how being able to get into your client's head at every single stage of their journey is an extremely valuable and important exercise, because it allows you to obviously start to figure out what topics you need to develop for blogs and vlogs and courses and products and all that kind of good stuff. And not to mention all of these objections and narratives and questions, like, what does fulfillment even look like for me in the context of my business anymore? And how do I balance my need for personal fulfillment with my responsibilities to my existing clients and team? Holy cow. That was a big one, you guys. Like, this one was gobsmacked me for a while. It really paralyzed me. So these are hooks, essentially. These are bullet points on a sales page that lets your client know you understand exactly where they are. And what that does is immediately develop a deeper sense of trust, even though they may have never even heard of you 90 seconds ago. And I know this because it's exactly how I was landing 4-figure clients within hours of launching my first freelance website in 2016. It's using those narratives. So it's absolutely rocket fuel for your conversion rates. And what I suggest is using these objections, internal narratives, and questions as hooks at the top of your funnels, such as your social media, right? In order to see, okay, which ones are getting the most traction and engagement. And, those are probably going to do well in longer form content like a blog. This is exactly what Neil Patel would do. And he openly talks about it. He uses Twitter or X or whatever, which I refuse to go on, and different social media channels. I think this is also a Gary Vee approach. That's where he tests hooks. And then when something performs well, ding, 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 that's an indicator to turn around and develop longer form content. If you have no idea what content to create, allow your audience to validate those topics that they're interested in for you. And the more that they continue to engage with it, those are more flags or alarm bells that could be a great area for you to look at potential product development. Okay. So this is what the pre-selling process looks like in a nutshell. So what it allowed me to do is very quickly, as I went through reading all of those, immediately know, okay, I've got some ideas for some blog topics. And then, so I brainstormed them along with ChatGPT, and then I did something tricky that I know 99.99999% of people out there would never think to do, but you are going to love. I told ChatGPT, are you ready for this? To prioritize all of the blog topics or the ideas that I had by Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and to prioritize those that would feel the most urgent for my target client to solve. Because I want to start with the topics that are going to convert at the bottom of the funnel versus the ones at the top. This is a huge common mistake that I see left, right, and center. People look at the common images for a sales funnel, which I'll just pull one up for you. Here we go. Right? And so what they think is, oh, because I don't have a big enough audience yet, or I am doing this new thing, that means I need more audience. So they always start back up at the top of the funnel and they start talking to people who aren't even aware that they have a problem that needs solving. And then they turn around and go, gee, why am I not getting any conversions? Because you're talking to the wrong people. Start down here. Start talking to the people that have already decided. They already know that they have a problem. They've already done the research to find out what all of the possible options or approaches are to solving that problem. They've already made a decision to make a purchase between you and a competitor right now. And so you just have to start talking to them in a way that gets them over that finish line and converts them from a buyer to a repeat buyer to a referral partner, and maybe even something beyond that. Like, that's the stage of the relationship that you need to be talking to. Stop wasting months and years of content just talking up here, thinking that you have to nurture before you can get here. That is a huge myth. So turn your funnel upside down, my friend. And in terms of this content map, that's exactly what you do. So as you can see, I'm brainstorming all of these topics and sorting them based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then am I going to start at this stage at the call to adventure? Or where she's refusing the call? No, that's the highest hanging possible fruit. Why would I want to bang my head against the wall doing that for a while just to earn sales? I don't have to do that. I can start anywhere back here if I want to. There are already people that aren't in my universe that have done all of this stuff, and they're over here. And maybe they're ready for a switch. Or maybe now they're ready to stop the DIY and they want to go to a more professional level and outsource, or whatever the case may be, right? So I want you to really consider this as you're developing your offers and your content strategy and your keyword strategy and all of these things. Really get intentional about the intent of the person that you're targeting. Have they already decided to make a purchase no matter what, and it's just going to be what you are offering or somebody else? Or do they not even know they have a problem yet, and you're trying to scream into the abyss, hey, this thing you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. It's a problem. Here's why it's a problem. Oh, you need to stop. You do not need to spend 3 years educating somebody on their problems before you sell to them. As long as you approach this content in the same generous way you would approach this content. Make sense? Of course it does. So this is basically a big copy and paste project right here, where, like I showed you before, I just had ChatGPT over here on one side and giving me the stage, and I would copy that to the goal of the stage, then the objections, then the internal narratives and the questions before doing the blog topics. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think that we need to spend an hour on copy paste. Your time is precious, just as is mine. But I will tell you that the next time you want to sit down and write a sales page to pre-validate an offer before you spend all of the time creating the actual thing, please do this, by the way. This is one of the absolute hands down most profitable exercises you could go through to make sure that you are really delivering something that is valuable, that's uniquely niche, that is definitely needed. And for bonus points, oh my gosh, let's say that you're like, okay, yeah, that's great, Sarah, that makes sense. But what if what I offer is like super generic? Like, what if my market has become crazy oversaturated, just like you said yours had? Don't worry, my love. I've got a strategy for you. Let's say you wanted to convert your one-on-one program or your group coaching program into a course. But again, the topic is really generic, so to speak. And you're feeling resistance around this because you're like, well, it's not so much that people like can't get this topic somewhere else, but they can't get it from me. And it's that one-on-one thing that they like so much. Okay. So then you're like, so here's the thing, like if it's online in just like the evergreen format versus my coaching, like who would really want to buy it? Like, how do I make it stand out? It's going to sound like everyone else, won't it? Nuh-uh. Because you can be extra clever and you can use storytelling themes now that you know the stages of the story that your client goes through. See, I was hopping like a bunny. Now that you totally understand all of the stages that she goes through, you can select story arcs and themes to give your courses a brand that will really stand out. What does that look like? I'll show you an example or two. I'm actually working on creating a whole line of these. These are going to be bundles of templates that all match and are already themed. You can see. Here's a Secret Garden one. Oh, the Midnight Magic. Oh, I love Midnight Magic. Already getting some great reviews. So here is a Secret Garden themed sales page template I've already created for the Secret Garden pack. There she goes. I was going to say, I know she's got more to her than that. And so you can think of the stages of the journey in the context of a story, and that can inform your artwork and your colors and all kinds of stuff like that. So you can take any otherwise mundane or generic or popular topic, and I promise make it stand out and sell by using storytelling arcs and branded themes like this. People go nuts for them. They absolutely love them, women especially. So highly recommend it. Here's, this is a galaxy one. Probably going to be really popular among the spiritual and tarot community. How did I get another Secret Garden? I didn't want that. I wanted Midnight Magic. Midnight Magic. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just realized I did that. The husband and I sing to the dog all day. So we sing silly songs and stuff all day, and I just just did it to you. Oh gosh. Well, now you know I'm tone deaf. All right, here's the Midnight Magic one, so you can see how these really stand out versus what you normally see on a plain, boring old sales page. So if you like any of these, please let me know. I would love to know in the comments. Maybe I can even get you an early template or something before everything releases if you are really loving them. You never know. I love to surprise people with gifts. So don't be shy. Let me know if any of these are Midnight Magic, Secret Garden, Galaxy. Any of these are striking your fancy, and maybe I will set you up with a little gift as a thank you Okay, so I think that's all for today. I don't want to keep you any longer, but I hope that if you have any questions at all about how to map out your client's heroine journey, you will definitely subscribe and also let me know in the comments. I want to do a whole lot more on this topic, but I'm not going to do it unless you let me know that you're into it. So, are you into it or not? Let me know if you want me to take you deeper into this level of buyer psychology and storytelling and thematic branding, elevated branding in order to make your offer stand out and clone yourself in a full offer suite of beautifully branded digital products and courses that clone you. Okay, so thanks again for the tea and the training time. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you next time. All my love. Mwah.